the average mom feels like a bad mom 156 times a year?
Wow.
Now, we wanted to have this conversation, but we are childless adults.
Yeah.
So we called Jay's sweet old Italian mother.
Hey, Ma, I have a question for you.
Yeah, okay.
I was reading, they did a survey of mothers,
Uh-huh.
and mothers apparently feel like they're a bad mom 156 times a year. Now, when we were growing up, when I was a kid, I wanted to know from you, how many times a year did you feel like you were a bad mother?
I don't think so. I never was a bad mother.
The thought never crossed your mind at all?
Maybe 10 times a year.
10 times a year.
Well, what were those times? Like, what made you think you were a bad mom back then?
When you were bad, then I was yelling and screaming at you, or you guys make me mad, and then you guys make me feel guilt after that.
What about when you made me wear a leash when we went to the mall?
Because you get lots of J, that's why I don't feel guilt for that.
Did you feel like a bad mother when I was a boy on a leash?
No, that was the best mother, I feel.
Okay. What about when I wouldn't go poop for days, so you brought the potty upstairs?
Yes.
You had a party.
You don't want to poop for 3 days. I had to put a suppository in your bum, and because you don't want to poop, that's what I did. So that was no bad mother either.
You did that at the Christmas party. Everyone was smoking cigarettes, watching me try to poop.
But you don't want to poop, Jay. What am I going to do? Put you on site?
You guys were placing bets on if I would poop or not.
No. But because I put you as a suppository, you had no choice. You had to poop.
I had to poop. I had no choice. That's right.
No.
What about that baby picture of me you have where you're holding me as a baby and there's a cigarette in your mouth because it's the 80s and there's a little bit of ash on my soft spot?
What do you want for me?
What?
I remember that time I baptized you, I christened you, went to church, come back, and me and my cousin had a cigarette. So what's wrong with that? I don't feel bad for that.
I always smoke after church.
Thor's Chris Hemsworth wants to bring the Tasmanian tiger back.
Does he have de-extinct tiger money? Serious question.
He's working with a company called the De-Extinction Company. And
That sounds sketchy.
They have a team of genetic engineers that are planning to reintroduce this Tasmanian tiger back to its native home of Australia.
Tasmanian tiger.
Yes.
Oh,
What does it look like to you?
it's got the body of a tiger, but the paws and the face of like a wolf/kangaroo.
Yes. It's like if a tiger, a wolf, and a kangaroo all had a baby together.
Yeah.
You would hope that no movie star would bring it back to life, right?
Exactly.
Leonardo DiCaprio is out there, and he wants to bring back another prehistoric creature, the woolly mammoth.
Yeah, I just feel like the guy bringing large and possibly dangerous animals back to life shouldn't be a guy who spends seemingly 80% of his time on yachts. Because I'll tell you why, when things go south, Leo's gonna be like, start the yacht! Save the models!
Carly and Jay.
Viagra lowers the risk of Alzheimer's by 69%, according to a study I just read.
Jay, what?
Yeah.
No.
Viagra.
What did I tell you? If a story seems too hilarious to be true, it's probably too hilarious to be true. How many sources did you check?
Listen, I know the number's funny, 69%, but this is from Harvard. Harvard EDU put this out.
Not Viagra.
No.
Harvard.
They also said that people that drink coffee while using Viagra almost double the decrease in chances of conducting Alzheimer's. That's real.
Now I'm starting to think that you wrote this thesis. Did you also include 20 hours of Xbox a week? If you also do 20 hours of Xbox a week, you'll never forget a thing.
No, I didn't. This isn't me, but I did create a drop just in case a story like this came out and was true. And it is true. Let me find it, okay? It's going to make sense. These are all great things. It's coffee, it's Viagra, it's Xbox.
These are a few of my favorite things.
According to a new study, intermittent fasting has been associated with a 91% higher risk of cardiovascular death.
Come on.
This study brought to you by food.
Who are the researchers heading the study? The Keebler elves?
No, it's actually the American Heart Association.
Okay.
And you know how some people will only eat for 8 hours in a day? They say you have a 91% higher risk of cardiovascular related death. Now, the best way that you can play this is by eating for 16 hours a day.
According to Dr. Tony the Tiger. who thinks you should have cereal for dinner. Nothing seems to change as much as diet advice, right? It seems like every week we find out that something we thought was healthy was actually quite bad for us, and then it changes
I
again.
used to drink so much milk. When's the last time you sat down as an adult and had just a tall glass of milk?
No, it doesn't happen. But we must be doing something right, because one of the things I love doing is looking at photos of sports athletes and actors in the past, just like 40 years ago, and seeing how different they look, how much older they looked.
A lot of that was because of the mustaches, though.
Yeah. Mustaches did play a part, but one person who didn't have a mustache, James Gandolfini, Tony Soprano, he was 35 years old when they filmed that first episode, and he looked 50. He looked 50 most of his life.
I got one of those for you. Dr. Fraser Crane, the first time he burst onto the scene in Cheers, he was 29. Kelsey Grammer was 29. That man looks 50.
Yes.
Also, I'm going to look 50 if I keep staying up late at night Googling how old Kelsey Grammer was in the first episode of Cheers. Experts believe there are 8 habits that could add up to 24 years to your life.
Oh, boy. First on the list was exercise.
Boo! First on the list is always exercise.
It sucks. You have to do 7.5 hours of exercise a week. Number 2, you have to have never become addicted to opioids. That was the second most important contributor to a longer life. Unfortunately, I was in a bad accident years ago. Got hooked on those. So X for me.
So -4.
Yes, -40. Okay, we're taking years off. And number 3, never having used tobacco reduces the risk of death by 29%.
That's cigarettes, that's vape,
Chewing tobacco.
doing all 3 at the same time. Oh, that's
okay.
that's got to be minus.
I'm also guilty of that.
Yeah.
Managing stress was next, reducing early death by 22%. Here's one that'll deduct points from you. Number 6, avoiding binge drinking, Carly. You see that? Binge drinking, Carly. That's
What is that?
I'm telling you that binge drinking, Carly, is a thing
Am
you
I
have to
supposed to
avoid.
admit to everything that I have issues with?
I was going through the list and saying what I have.
Nobody asked you to do that. That was your choice. Hey, everybody, I drink more than I should.
Okay, all right, listen. Moving on. Number 7, get a good night's sleep. And finally, you have to be surrounded by positive social relationships. That adds another 5% to your life. Good friends, good times.
I'm doing additional years math over here with the occasional binge drinking. I can still get in 22 years. You are at 3.5 months.
Oh, boy. Well, it's better than nothing. 3 months, baby.
What are you going to do with them?
Party. Hard. There's a new invention called PieBot, a robot that combines...
Makes pies.
No, a robot that combines AI technology with robotics and can fly planes better than any human pilot alive.
Would have been a lot cooler if it made pies.
Now, the only issue, because this thing is tested so high, it truly is better than any human pilot they found. They're worried that people will refuse to fly with it, that this technology will ever get out there, even if it has a co-pilot. They just don't think people would get in the plane with it.
People won't trust it.
Yeah.
Wait, a human co-pilot?
Yeah, because, listen, usually on big flights, there's 2 pilots. This could just replace one.
Oh, I'm sure Gary's going to love that. I used to sit next to my buddy Ted, but now I babysit a machine.
I don't have a problem with this. My only issue with a robot pilot piloting a plane is it kind of eliminates a dream I've had my whole life. I've always imagined that one day I'd be on a plane, right? And a flight attendant would burst through the door and say, the pilot is incapacitated. Can someone land the plane? And that's when my hand would go up. And I'd be like, I can. And I would be the person that...
But you don't know how to land a plane.
Oh, I'd figure it out.
So your dream is to volunteer to land the plane despite the fact that you have no idea how to land a plane?
Well, you'd be a hero.
Yeah. What if the person behind you actually knew how to land a plane? Like they were a whole ass pilot. But you just had big pick me energy. I can do it.